Hey everyone, I'm Jordy, and my guild Fusion and I cleared Sunwell on the PTR over the last 2 days, and I kept getting the same questions, so I figured I'd make a video to go over my first impressions and get you all ready for what you can expect heading into Phase 5. First, is Sunwell Plateau hard? The simple answer is...
Go ahead. Big Heal can detain, Demo Shout, Corporate Sting. This boss hits really
hard.
We got a free gas and heals.
Yes. Compared to everything we've experienced in Classic so far, Sunwell Plateau is by far the hardest set of encounters that we've faced. The average guild is going to stress your tanks and your healers to their breaking point. It'll stretch your wallets, and it might break some guilds. If Black Temple's a 5 in difficulty and pre-nerf Vosh and KT are around 7s, I'd give Sunwell overall a 9. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how fun Sunwell is.
I'm going to train group 2. Train for 2.
For the ball, it's by Ladon.
Shield wall fading.
It's
Get out of that void
melee.
zone, Gibby. Void zone melee, get away from that.
Get away from the Dark Fiend. No Dark Fiend.
Any battle reses?
None.
Hellstones.
We got it. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
All CDs.
Make sure you're spread.
Totally,
Make sure
Oon.
you're
Kill it.
Bubble.
Fuck
Palace.
yeah! Eat a dick!
Yeah.
The bosses feel challenging and rewarding, the mechanics are more complicated than anything we faced, and TBC really feels like it's being pushed to its limit in this place, and I can't wait to raid it multiple times a week in the coming months. Oh, by the way, I will be releasing a Phase 5 loot prio sheet going over what items should go where in the coming weeks, as well as a long video going over all our thoughts as a guild. If you subscribe, you'll get that video in your feed. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, which bosses were the hardest? In order of hardest to easiest, I'd say Muru was the hardest, followed by Eridar Twins, Kil'jaeden, Brutalis, then Kalecgos, and Felmint. Muru is definitely a challenge. It requires really good DPS, perfect tanking, and a crazy amount of healing and personal responsibility to keep yourself alive at all times. I'd say Eridar Twins was also a serious challenge. This is one of those fights that has a simple pass-fail mechanic that can really frustrate guilds because not all of us have perfect reaction times. And if you get targeted with the conflagration and don't get out of the raid in time, you can just wipe the raid. Kil'jaeden felt a lot like Kael'thas. There are a lot of mechanics, but once your guys know the fight and what to do, it'll be pretty doable week after week. It's just going to take some time to learn. It's also really fun and flavorful. I highly recommend you turn your game music and your dialogue on because it's just great. Brutalis requires perfect tanking and healing and will be the first boss that you spend some time wiping on. DPS won't really be an issue as most of our raids these days are pretty optimized, but it will take some time for your tanks and healers to learn what they need to do and when. Kalecgos and Felmist were definitely the easiest of the fights. I still wouldn't call them pushovers. They were harder than most of the fights in Black Temple, but they were simple enough that once we knew how they worked and how to avoid wipe mechanics, they went down. Oh, and don't forget the trash. The first 30 minutes or so of the run is just trash. It's not exactly simple, as there are scouts like there are in Zul'Aman that when aggroed will run directly to the nearest giant robot and activate it, which will quickly overwhelm your raid. These pulls will take some time to learn how to do them effectively. So, what can you do to help your guild prepare for Sunwell now to give you the best shot at success? First, I'd recommend having your Ellie Shaman or your Balance Druid work on their healing sets and be prepared to swap for the first few weeks of progression. We took up to 7 healers for some fights, and this helped tremendously as it smoothed out a lot of our mistakes and let us get further into the fights so we could learn mechanics and get through there faster. I think you could likely 5 heal Sunwell down the line, or even less if you're super Chad, but I wouldn't want to week 1, and bringing extra healers will prevent wipes, which is the name of the game early on. Second, work on getting your raid accustomed to what is expected of them. Positioning, mechanics, watching VODs, etc. will go a long way in preventing deaths that could otherwise be avoided. I'll have boss kill videos posted to my channel in the coming weeks, so if you hit the subscribe button, those will show up in your feed. Well, you didn't think I was going to say it. Finally, get your consumes now. Prices will be going up. Stock up now so you don't get screwed by the price gougers when people realize how often they're going to have to pop new sets of elixirs and scrolls. All right, I hope that was a good primer on what to expect. Sunwell's a blast, and I'm excited for you all to get in there to try it yourselves. If you like this video, hitting the like and subscribe button helps me a lot. Thank you so much, and make sure to catch me on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Jordy, or hit me up on my Discord, which I've linked in the description below. Thanks, everyone. See you in the next one.
Was there no dragon for that?
There's no dragon for that last one. I was like, why he's dead?
Easy.
All four are active. All four orbs are active. I see one back here.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
It was a
Four
bug.
in the
It was a
room, all
wipe.
Four become active as soon as
It
he
was
hits
for sure a
25.
wipe.
That's what, okay.
So we need to like leave a totem there or some shit on the back four.
If we